Good evening, viewers, and welcome to Breaking Views on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has launched a massive campaign against child marriage. While many say that this is a menace that needs to be tackled, there are others, those who are protesting on the streets. That is going to be our Breaking Views focus this evening. Let me now, in fact, tell you, viewers, as per the UNFPA and UNICEF data, India is home to the largest child brides in the world. In 2020, the number of child brides stood at 223 million, a third of the global total. As all of us know, it's illegal for girls under the age of 18 to marry in India. Despite that, estimates suggest 1.5 million girls under the age of 18 get married in India every single year. Assam is one of the worst performing states when it comes to child marriage. Now, a massive crackdown by Himanta Biswa Sarma's government in the state against the child marriage has created a huge controversy. With arrest of thousands of men across the state, particularly from the minority-dominated districts, the government's argument is that its intention is to abolish the practice of child marriage and rescue minor girls who were forcibly married. There were hundreds of women, despite this, surrounding police stations as a form of protest against the arrest by the BJP government. So why has this move sparked such a huge protest by the women? Is this targeted against one religion, as being claimed by the critics of the Himanta Biswa Sarma government? Or is this campaign an overreach, using stick instead of awareness to tackle a problem which is being faced not only by Assam but many states across the country? We'll try and dive more into this deep dive and understand this, the questions that are coming out of this entire campaign. But before that, take a look at the real impact on the ground. This report by my colleague Pradeep.
Outside Doboka police station in Assam's Hojai, a teenage pregnant child bride waits anxiously for news of her husband. He was picked up by the police in the crackdown against child marriage in Assam. Her mother and mother-in-law tried to comfort her. She ran away from home when she was 17 years old. Fearing social ostracism, her mother married her off. But now pregnant and alone, she waits for her husband, who is behind bars. In Duboka's Haldaiti, this mother and her pregnant daughter-in-law are from the Bodo tribe. Hindu by faith, they are in despair as all the men in their family have been arrested.
কোনো গাঁৱৰ মানুহটো কোৱা নাছে এনেকা হ'ব বুলি কা পাছত হঠাতে আহি মোৰ হাজবেণ্ড আৰু শহুৰ দেউতা আৰু দেউতাক লৈ গৈছে
Ever since Assam police launched the crackdown against child marriage, scenes like this are common outside many police stations in Assam, where relatives and family members of those who have been arrested are waiting anxiously, sometimes even protesting against the crackdown. Many of them actually acknowledge that child marriage did take place, but they plead that they were ignorant and that there was lack of awareness in their villages about the law and also about child marriage and what are the harmful side of child marriage.
People across religious profiles and ethnicity have been put behind bars.
আমি গম পোৱা নাছিলো গম নোপোৱা হেৰিতে মানে তেওঁলোকে আহি তৎক্ষণাত আহি যে নিছে আমিতো নাজানো নহয় এতিয়া ঘৰৰ মেন হাজবেণ্ডটো নিলে আকৌ ডাঙৰ ল'ৰাটোকো নিলে যি হেঁতে হেৰি কামাই কৰি উপাৰ্জন কৰি খুৱাই থাকে সিহঁতৰ দুজনেকে লৈ গ'ল এতিয়া আমি ক'ৰ পৰা খাম আমাৰতো গধূলালৈকে চাউল নাই
Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has tweeted data to back his claims. The teenage pregnancy ratio in Assam at 16.8% is alarming, says the Chief Minister. But legal experts say arrests are not the only resort.
It's a violative of the direction of the Supreme Court in the Anis Kumar judgment and the subsequent judgment.
The crackdown has now somewhat slowed down, with the police busy preparing reports on those already arrested. Many offenders are now absconding, but the fear remains. With Ratnadeep Chaudhary, Osama Sham for NDTV.
Everyone agrees that the menace of child marriage needs to be tackled. But is this the right way? Is Mr. Himanta Biswa Sarma setting a good example? Or is it just an overreach? That's the big question that we are asking, ladies and gentlemen. And let me very quickly take this, to our guests who are joining us this evening. I'm first being joined by Mr. Gaurav Gogoi, Deputy Leader of the Indian National Congress in the Lok Sabha. He's an MP from the Congress Party. Mr. Gogoi, thank you so much for joining us this evening, sir. I want to start by asking you, as far as this crackdown is concerned, the Chief Minister has put out data backing his claim that this is a serious problem and it needs to be tackled. What are the reservations as far as the Congress Party and you are concerned with this entire drive, sir?
Ankit, it's quite unfortunate that a serious issue has been given such a farcical treatment in Assam. This issue of children or young people getting married before they turn 18 is prevalent across the country. Now, if you take the Assam model and you apply that across the country, can you imagine the lakhs of people who would be arrested? Now, if this act or crackdown was progressive, that means people who are getting married today, tomorrow, if the crackdown was on them, we would all welcome it. But this has been applied retrospectively. This has been applied on couples who got married 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, couples who have children now. And there has been absolutely no preparation by the police in terms of holding such people. There has been no complementary social awareness campaign, no public awareness campaign. It has been the most clumsiest approach to a very serious issue that I've seen.
So your problem or the Congress Party is pointing out the approach and the way this entire drive has been, undertaken by the government of Assam.
Ankit, yes. I also want to correct you. Please do not make this into a minority issue.
Sure.
Please do not tarnish any community. Please do your research. This crackdown has been across all communities, across all districts of Assam, whether it's tribal, non-tribal, minority, linguistic minority, general, across all sections.
Sure.
And I must say that, this government, in terms of its law and order performance over the last 1 year, has totally failed. And therefore, this seems like a PR exercise. Nothing has been solved by the police crackdown. Neither have the cases of drugs gone down.
Okay.
Neither have the cases of kidnapping gone down. Neither have the cases related to extortion by Alpha have gone down. In fact, law and order has become worse. We have seen that there are higher numbers of murders, kidnappings, robberies. We've seen the kind of violence that has been taking place at the borders between Assam and her neighboring states.
Right.
So this seems like nothing but a PR exercise to overcome the disappointment of the Home Department,
so this
which
is
falls
being
directly under the Chief Minister.
So this is being, and you saw this report, sir. We in fact put out stories from both, from the Muslim community and from the Hindu community as well, to suggest that how this is being implemented across the state of Assam. But you are saying that this is a distraction which is being created by the Chief Minister and his government to in fact take the focus away from his governance failures. But isn't it also true, Mr. Gogoi, that the National Family Health Survey says Assam is one of the states in the country with the highest maternal and child mortality rate? One of the main reasons is the child marriage. 31% of marriages in Assam are under the age, which are under the age as far the rules are concerned. What methods, sir, if so far this has not been able to curb, the government says we have to now go in with harsh measures to make an example?
Ankit, there are many social evils prevalent in India which are illegal as per the law. But in the entire history of India, no social evil has been eradicated by the threat of police enforcement. It has always been through empowering people, giving them knowledge, giving them political empowerment, social empowerment, educational empowerment. This is what we did in the past. The Congress government in the past promoted female literacy, promoted political leadership amongst women, promoted economic empowerment, promoted that women should get married later, women should focus on earning a livelihood, all of which delays pregnancies, all of which incentivizes them to have safe pregnancies inside hospitals. So this is the model that has worked in Assam in the past and across India. And I'm sorry, this government again is just being very clumsy, being very foolish, and being very malicious. Because if you read the recent Guwahati High Court judgments which have come in the previous few months, all of them have tarnished and scolded and reprimanded the Assam police for their dismal performance in enforcing
Mr.
law and
Gogoi,
order.
in the end, I just want to understand from you, because there is now political voices around this as well. Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi, in fact, speaking about trying to make it communal. He said that what about the girls and especially why Muslim community is being targeted. And apart from that, a lot of political analysts, those who are watching Assam, say that the Congress party is also not sure about how to tackle this entire issue. That is why you don't see a lot of protest on the ground by the Congress party.
We've been saying it from day one, Ankit. I've been calling it a farce. In fact, I welcomed it, thinking that this act will be applied prospectively. But once I saw the retrospective effects, once I saw the total lack of police preparation, I've seen cases where 48 people were picked up and then they were released overnight because the police did not know how to file a proper charge sheet. There's been no grassroots campaigns amongst the women. So it clearly, as I said, there are many other cases related to child trafficking, women trafficking, drugs, all of which have increased over the last few years, especially during COVID and unfortunately during the BJP rule. So this is completely, we are sure that the Chief Minister has again, in order to gain publicity, which your channel is giving him, is doing this, but putting the lives of poor people at risk. Imagine a daily wage laborer who is now in prison. How will he feed his family? If the mother is feeding a pregnant child, where will she get the money to buy milk? So it is absolutely dismal and it is really shocking.
So it's not been done with proper due diligence and, of course, taking in account the kind of repercussions that this kind of a crackdown could have. Thank you so much, Mr. Gaurav Gogoi, for joining us this evening. Let me now quickly go across to my other guests, those who are joining us at this moment. We have Mr. Bhaskar Gogoi, member of the BJP Assam. In fact, he's also the member of the Youth Commission of Assam. We have Anshuman Bora, senior advocate, Poonam Mutreja, Executive Director, Population Foundation of India, also joining us this evening. Thank you so much for being with us and welcome to the show. I want to start by asking you, Mr. Gogoi, you heard Gaurav Gogoi speaking about this, the way this entire crackdown or this entire campaign has been unleashed, to say, as far as Assam is concerned. Nobody is supporting child marriage, but did the government take in account the kind of repercussions that are now coming out?
It is very obvious that we have a problem of teenage pregnancy. Assam CM himself stated it, and also about maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate. And when we look at all these issues, we find out that the child marriage has been the main cause of this evil. Now, Mr. Gaurav Gogoi has been very vocal that Assam CM has not done the homework or awareness campaign. But CM Himanta Biswa Sarma, when he was the health minister, even during the Congress government, he has been speaking publicly about this issue, that child marriage is the root behind Assam's high infant mortality rate and maternal mortality rate. But it is the Congress government which didn't allow him to act upon it on the main issue, that is the child marriage that is very prevalent. Now, I'm also thankful to Mr. Gogoi when he said that it has been cut across all religious and community lines. So I appreciate that admission from him. As far as this mission is concerned, it will be a long-run process. And I believe when law and order takes place, when crackdown of such nature takes place, the immediate effect is really seen. So next year, on this date when we'll come again, we'll see that the maternal mortality rate and teenage pregnancy will come down a lot. So
okay, so basically, the government of Assam wants to make an example out of these arrests so that it serves, as a deterrent for people, those who are now going ahead and getting married. But the fact is, and we saw that in our report as well, many people don't even understand these laws. This has been a practice. They don't know these laws. So was this stick the only policy to go ahead? And I want to bring in Mr. Anshuman Bora on this. Mr. Bora, a lot of people are questioning the way this has been implemented, and also the fact that can the state now utilize the laws and, put people behind bars for marriages which have taken place 2 years, 3 years back? The retrospective impact of this law is being questioned.
Yes. Ankit, it's true that this law has come long before. It's not that today, it's 2006. Before that also there are laws in this regard for the prohibition of the children marriage. But this is subsequently amended, and the last amendment took place in 2006. And the 2006, it has come as it's a non-bailable offense and a cognizable offense. It has been made. So the police can arrest a person and police can take up the cases without being complained by any person, the aggrieved person. So the police can, it's a cognizable offense, non-bailable offense, and from the 2006 it's been implemented. So there's no question of any retrospective effect. So because the law is prevailing from 2006 onwards, so the police always can arrest a person who has committed an offense. But the question is how to arrest, whether the arrest is mandatory in circumstances which we are talking about. Because this particular act, which is the maximum punishment is provided is 2 years under this particular act and the Child Prohibition of Child Marriage Act. So if somebody is booked under this particular act, he can be sentenced for maximum 2 years or fine. That's the law. But as far as the Supreme Court guideline and the judgment, various guidance after the Anas Kumar and the subsequent judgment, it says that if you want to arrest somebody, then the 41A notice is mandatory in these kind of cases where the punishment prescribed is below 7 years. So in these cases, what we have seen that there's no 41 notice has been served to any of the person.
And no notices have been served, and a large amount. I mean, the last report came in that more than 2,500 people so far have been arrested. As far as this case is concerned, this crackdown is concerned. Ms. Mutreja, I want to understand from you, while everybody recognizes the problems and the evil as far as the child marriage is concerned, should the government also take in account what will be the impact on those who have a family now? Because largely, these are the people from the lowest strata of the society. If the bread earner is put behind bars in such cases, it completely breaks down the family.
So you are so right in what you've said. And it is shocking that the government, which is supposed to treat its people well, is creating chaos in the name of a good cause. Both ending child marriage and reducing maternal mortality and child mortality is very important. And I'm glad that the Assamese government is thinking of these issues, which should have been given attention all over the country much earlier. But the good news is that we are doing well on maternal mortality in terms of decrease. And I'm afraid the only reason, as Mr. Gogoi said, is I don't agree with him at all. Mr. Gogoi from BJP. He says that that's the only way to bring down maternal mortality and child mortality. Yes, child marriage is a way to end, but not the only way. The girls are undernourished, they are anemic, and they have a 50% higher chance of dying in childbirth as well as the baby dying. Second, family planning. If you invest in family planning, you will see fewer maternal mortality deaths as well as child deaths. Third, you invest in educating girls. And before you do this crackdown, which is created insecurity, chaos, which is not the job of the government.
Absolutely.
The job of the government is to ensure there is no chaos, fear.
Right.
You don't put fear in the minds of people. And let me just say one thing.
Yes.
People think it's a solution, what we think is a problem. People across the country, in the communities where child marriage is happening, think it is a solution
Absolutely.
to deal with poverty. So why are we doing this? You know, the intentions of the chief minister to do it in this way shows a failure of governance.
Or maybe a complete understanding as far as this issue is concerned. And Mr. Gogoi, that's the question that a lot of your critics are asking. Across the country, Assam is not the only state which has this problem, but you've not seen this kind of a high-handedness by any government. There are various measures being taken. Is the chief minister only doing this to build his strongman image across the state?
You are not exactly correct. While this man have been arrested, the CM Himanta Biswa Sarma has also announced that the women whose husband had been arrested will be provided with a payment of 1,250 rupees per month till their husbands are at jail. Also, ration will be provided. So, the livelihood issue has been sort of addressed in this matter. So, the country needs to know that it is not only high-handedness.
So, but it's
while the husband is in the
complete
jail,
breakup of the families as well, isn't it?
1,200 rupees enough for a girl who has 3 kids or 2 kids. Is that enough? You think people can live in 1,100 rupees per month?
Mr. Gogoi?
Well, no. 1,250 is not enough, but also ration will be provided to that.
That is provided anyway.
No, and also this goes
through...
Sir, the problem is also the kind of fear psychosis which is being created in the name of this crackdown. We heard a report today where an underage girl, a teenage girl, committed suicide because she thought that her father would be arrested after this crackdown started. So there are a lot of this kind of a fear psychosis which is being created. Yes, this needs to be tackled, but again the question comes down, is this the right way? Mr. Bora, I also want to understand from you very quickly, sir. The POCSO Act in many cases have also been implied. This is a very, very stringent act. Many of these people will then go, in fact, without any bail, and the provisions under this law are quite stringent than the child marriage law. Why do you think, and is it right, in fact, now to put POCSO Act on in such cases?
So technically, it may be right. Technically, it may be right. The POCSO may come up. Somebody may be booked under POCSO also because there is a marriage of an below 18 years girl.
Okay.
But both the acts are for the different purpose. POCSO is just for the sexual abuses, the forceful sexual abuses. But the legislature is very aware of this fact that where is the POCSO lies, where it is 376, because before POCSO, the 375, 376 rape is always there.
Right.
But when amending the Act 2006, the legislature was very clear about their intention. They have not included the 376 at that relevant point of time.
Okay.
The POCSO came up in 2012 also. That now what the government is doing, that's my very worries things for me. Apart from this Child Prohibition Act, they are also implicating the person under this POCSO.
Right.
And in the POCSO, what may happen that there is a chance that there may be a conviction of a person up to 7 years or up to 10 years, then up to 20 years. So a wife without husband and suffering without the husband with the children, with merely 200 to 1,200 rupees for the entire half life. Is it possible? Is it the right thinking? I don't think so. The POCSO is a different purpose. Why they are aiding POCSO in these particular circumstances? And the arrest. Why the arrest is necessary for these husbands?
Okay.
They might have committed offense, but they are not the dreaded criminals.
I will have to leave it there because it's a larger issue that we are dealing with, and possibly there should have been much more debate before this kind of a crackdown was implemented. Discussions and debate with experts.
Even without the debate, there has to be sensitivity in which we deal difficult, complex social issues. We don't lead to criminalization of a whole bunch of people, and even the parents and the boys.
Absolutely, you're very right, ma'am. I will leave it there. That should be the last word on the show. There needs to be greater sensitivity to deal with such issues. The menace of child marriage is prevalent. It's prevalent in many places across the country. But have we seen anywhere this use of force? That's the question, or possibly the thought that we leave you with tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to all my guests for being with us. News and updates continue on NDTV. Stay tuned.